A man travels the world in search of what he needs and returns home to find it. Right now, we face a situation of overpopulation, poverty, and climate change. Some see this as a reason to leave. Now, this is relevant to me because recently our government has started a new defense department, which is the Space Force. Now, the reason this concerns me is because I have a teenager who may or may not want to join the military. And now the prospect, which once was maybe they'll go off to war across the world, now may be sent off across the galaxy. So this is the reason why I think this is relevant to all of us. Now, before we start, I want to define a few terms. First, I want to make sure we all understand when I mention space, what I mean is the area outside of Earth's atmosphere. And then I'm going to talk about colonization. Now, a colony, of course, is an area that is governed by another country and also populated. Usually this area is a distance away from the original. In this case, there's people who want to put actual colonies in space. One of the most well-known is the Mars colony, being developed right now by Elon Musk and SpaceX. Now let me start. I want to first begin by reminding everyone that Earth is the only habitable planet that we know of that we can confirm that life can live on. Now, according to Discovery.com, if you you could live on another planet like Mars only for about 2 minutes. And this is even if you have very warm clothes, because the temperature on Mars on average is about negative 81 degrees. So you probably wouldn't be able to survive. Now, if that's not enough for you that you couldn't live on another planet, there's the fact that if we go to another planet, that we could actually harm that planet and its ecosystem. According to Catherine Lacey, there's no reason to think the life out there would kill us. Of course, we haven't discovered life, and we don't have reason to think that it would kill us. But what we do know is that the human body contains trillions of bacteria that would devastate a vulnerable planet if we don't properly weigh that risk. Now, in addition to, first of all, having no suitable place, and then the fact that we could actually harm other people, there's another reason that should hit close to home for all of us. Finding a new home, a new planet, is like giving up on Earth. As we know, Earth is known as Mother Earth, and according to Professor Jaku, humanity's home is dying. Salvation lies only in space. Now, this is according to Dr. Jaku of McGill University in Canada. Now, how many of you, if your mother was sick, before she even died, would go and find another replacement mother? You wouldn't. You would do everything you could to try to save the mother you had. You would do anything possible to try to save your mother. Let's just look for a second at the situation we're talking about here. Now, what I have here in this visual is what we call a habitable zone. Now, this is the zone. This blue line represents the zone here in our galaxy where habitable life can live. Now, the reason for this is its distance from the sun. These places are not too hot to keep vapor on the surface. Now, if you notice Mars here, Mars in this representation lies right outside the habitable zone. Now, there is some speculation that it may be close enough. However, if we look at this illustration, Mars is outside of the habitable zone. Now, I'd like to conclude by reminding you a few things. The reason why we as humans should stick with Earth, the giver of life for all of us. First of all, there's no other place besides Earth. Why would you logically go somewhere where you couldn't breathe to live? The first thing we need as human beings, oxygen. If we can't find it, we stay here. Now, the next point. We could actually do harm. Now, I don't know how you could live with yourself if you knew that you had decimated an entire population. Now, if you're a person who thinks that because you're higher intelligence that your life is of more importance, that's fine. However, some of us feel like we have a moral obligation to all life in our galaxy. Finally, my final point is that who would ever give up on the giver of life? The fact is that we should never give up on Earth, because Earth has proven that it can generate life and support life. In fact, even after a cataclysmic event that extinct dinosaurs, we still had life on Earth. There's not an event that could happen that would wipe out every human being. So I say, guys, instead of coming up with a plan to leave our home, let's find a way to improve it and save it now while we can. Thank you very much.